broken,
You are out of balance.
and there is a path home.
This is snake,
From the Alaska ulfhednar,
ancestral morning light for those
who have been through hell,
and are still standing.
this nonprofit has a sliding scale guidance
At alaskaulfhednar.org/guidance.
for felonious belly snake.
Begins now.
Every day, someone's little girl, daughter, sister, girlfriend, fiance, wife, cousin, mother, auntie, grandmother, great grandmother, elder disappears, shattering a family, a community, the world. There is something we can all do. Remember them.
God morgen and happy Thursday to you. I hope that this week you've gained some insight as to who you are and which way you're going, and that I have provided within the limits of obviously some level of energy that you can use to power your way forward and to be productive in your own way. All right, so everyone has their own path to travel. Today, as always, I want to start off by saying thank you so much for all of you who have liked, followed, and subscribed. Without you, this show would cease to exist and cease to be continued. For those of you in Anchorage, I also want to give a huge shout out and say it's coming. We are providing a workshop coming up sometime in early January, so stay tuned for that. We'll be advertising it here and everywhere, all of our social media, everywhere. So for those of you in Anchorage want to hear firsthand more about what we're talking about and how it applies to your everyday life, that is your time. For those of you who won't be there via logistics or location, we'll also be creating a video series that will step through that whole process. So stay tuned for that. And which leads me to saying a huge shout out to my friends and family at New Reality TV, newrealitytv.com, of course, a streaming video channel dedicated to offering a different perspective of our spiritual path, hopefully one that will resonate with you and help you to become a better version of you, because you are important. I also want to give a huge shout out to KWWP Radio, nonprofit radio here in Anchorage, Alaska, providing you with music of culture and sounds of many different heritages and culture and ancestors, in addition to replays of our show every day. So a wonderful channel. Check them out, kwwp.org, and there you can find hopefully something that pleases and keeps you comfortable. So be sure to check that out. So today we're talking about the strength of Thor, but we're also, what is our title today? Our title is The Serpent Beneath, which I thought was very fitting for today, so that we can kind of identify that there's something always lurking out there. Hopefully we're able to control and master. So we'll talk about that today. I also want to say that today's show is brought to you by fournseven-poster-frame. As we know, every hall, every wagon, every shield once bore the mark of individuality, of personality, of country, of pride. So the 4 and 7 brings those images, that imagery, into our everyday life. So do check them out, as well as all the other wonderful affiliates that support our program at akumedia.akoutlaw.com/sponsors. You can check out them and many others, as all of the purchases through that site then go to support the show and support KWWP radio. So check them out. Purchase some things. The holidays are coming upon us, and so what a great opportunity to go check them out and get something for that one friend that you can never find a gift for. This is the place. So check them out. All right. So today we're talking about the serpent within. Well, what does that mean? What is the serpent beneath? Well, the serpent beneath is the age-old saying that says, beneath all of the clutter, humans are at their core evil. Well, that is incorrect. People and humans and this whole concept that began very early in modern, or in the evolution of humans, about this thing called sin, and how it originated, and it was evil, and this and that and the other thing. Well, it's all hogwash. It's a matter of our interpretations. When we talk about energy being transmitted from the spiritual realm to the physical realm, there is no such thing as evil. Energy cannot exist in the spiritual realm as evil. And if it does, it's for a very short period of time until that energy bundle stream is dissipated in the vastness that is the spiritual realm. So the spiritual realm and the energy coming from it is always neutral. It is up to us to add perspective, or polarity, as we like to refer to it. So if we receive energy from the universe, from the sun, from the gods, from the spirits, from other physical beings who are sending a spiritual energy through the spiritual realm, all of that energy will be neutral. Now, having said that, there are two other polarities, if you will, that arrive into our psyche every day. And those energies include this new thing called influential energy, which is the intent of the sender. What I mean by that is, if I mean to send you negative energies in the spectrum of that scope, I'm sending you negative energies for whatever reason. I'm angry or whatever. I can't control myself. I can send you from my physical form through my spiritual self. I can send negative energies at you. Now, the beautiful thing about that is we all, every human, every life form for that matter, has this potential of saying, no, I don't want your energy. I don't want your negativity. I don't want your ugliness, right? Now, don't confuse the two with the energy and the actual person and and or thing or event and or experience. Don't confuse the two. The energy itself it's separate, right? So when we look at a person and they're just brewing negative energy, and you can see it, right? Negative energy is very obvious. So we see this negative energy. The person themselves may not even be aware that this is the energy that they're producing. This is the field they're producing around them. They may not even recognize it. To them, they may not see it. Remember, perspectives. So from their perspective, it may not seem that bad. It may not seem that negative. They may not feel that poorly. But from us, looking at them from a different perspective, we may see it negatively. Does it mean it's negative? No, not always. In some cases, we're applying our filtering to our perspective of that energy. As an example, we're in the grocery store and there is a young man, young child, and he's with his parent. And the parent is very strict. Don't do this. Don't touch that. No, no. And they're very, very controlling of the child. Now, we, having no experience with either of the two, kind of evaluate the situation and we say, it seems very negative. It seems like a very controlling, very dominating parent over this child who seems to be just some child. They're having fun. They're in the grocery store and, there's lots of room and there's stuff. This is a great opportunity. So the parent, though, knows the child. The parent has lived with the child since the child's birth, I would assume. They recognize that the child needs to be just narrowed. Not squashed, not duct taped to the grocery cart, but narrowed. Their function needs to be just narrowed just a little way, as they know to do. We, on the other hand, view this grocery store. Mom or dad is corralling them, and that's what moms and dads do. They corral their children. And the child is trying to still have fun within those constraints. To the child, this is all completely normal. 100% completely normal. To the parent, it's just another day at the grocery store with the child. Okay? So we've got some multitude of things here going on. To us, third party, completely different perspective, it may seem very strict. This is really the idea behind our perspective adding polarity to energy. That experience was very different for the three people involved. The child, all completely normal. This is how mom or dad is when we're in the grocery store. All normal. Mom and dad, this is how the child is when we're at the grocery store. This is normal, everyday behavior. I've just got to keep him within the guardrails. That's it, right? Not to mention, I'm sure they might have a few other things, thinking about going, the rest of the day, what are they doing after the store? So mom and dad, or dad, have a lot of thoughts going on, right? So, but to them, this is not negative. This is just corralling their child in the grocery store. It's, if you almost want to say, it could be construed as positive from their perspectives. They're simply doing their thing. Now, as we're looking at this experience, we're taking in this view, this vision, maybe some sounds. What does this look like? Well, this looks kind of negative. And we interpret that information that way, okay? And that's how we're pulling in information, is we're applying a negative filter to that. Now, what if, think about it for a minute, what if in your past, your parents were very strict? Just, you couldn't do anything in the grocery store. You walked in single file behind mom or dad. You didn't touch anything. You very hard line. Would that filter then apply to what you're seeing in this picture? And now all of a sudden, Mom and dad, well, they're kind of free range. They're letting this kid kind of, I mean, he's not single file behind mom or dad. Notice the polarity change? So it's all about our perspective. It's about how we're looking at it and the filtering that we're putting on this sensory input that's coming into our brain. All of this is coming down from our memories, which is being passed through from our memories to through imagination to our sensory input. It's now coloring, if you will, the imagery and the sounds coming into our sensory input. Is it wrong? No. Not for them. Is it wrong for you? Maybe. Is it your job now to align them to your perspective? No. Your perspective is different. Your experience is different. Your experience of them is different. So this really speaks to this whole idea of energy understanding and how perspective of that energy changes the polarity. This single fact is how we can think about all of the experiences that we have in this reality as to being received and how we are establishing these filters. Establishing the filters on what we're seeing, what we're hearing, maybe what we're smelling, tasting, or touching. We're applying some level of filtering. And that filtering then brings with it the idea of polarity, of right, wrong, left, good, bad, positive, negative. This is what it does. And then that energy that's coming into our sensory input, processed through the whole thought process into our ultimate memories, carries with it that energy that we assigned. Right, wrong, or indifferent. That's the energy that's processed through our system. Not through them, through us. So, a big thing to understand about the reality at which we experience. It's all about perspective, the way you see things. Is it the only way to see each of these experiences? No. There's all 9 people around the puddle here. So we can look at it from many different directions. And that's the beauty about taking a minute. Woo. Not subscribing to this idea of forcing these experiences to fit our mold. In other words, we're not enacting our justice on that scene. Okay? We're interpreting it as their thing. They're doing their thing. As long as no one's getting hurt. All right? So that's really the whole idea behind perspectives and the understanding that this serpent that lies beneath of wanting to attach a more negative vibe, a more negative energy to these experiences doesn't really exist. It's a figment of our imagination. All right? All right, so it is that time. There we are. It is time for us to check on the words from the gods and evaluate our rune for the day. And let's see, what is our rune for the day? Gebo. Gebo is our rune for the day. Gebo is a wonderful rune, and it speaks about divine vision. It speaks about generosity and gifts and the magical exchange between physical life and spiritual life. So, what does Gable mean today? Well, I think Gable means that when we stop and take a moment to reconsider, look at the picture, look at the experience from a different perspective, this is the vision of the gods. Remember when we said we're all constructed, our spiritual selves are constructed of particles of energy, and those particles of energy are assembled long before our physical birth. But some of those particles are particles that the gods, the deities, whatever you want to refer to them, have put out into the universe, so that when entities, spiritual entities, are created, when they create and they coalesce all of these particles together, some of those particles are from the deities, and therefore, as we have experiences, as those experiences are processed into our memories, our memory is also connected to our spiritual self. Our spiritual self then extracts a copy of that experience and processes out to the spiritual realm, where the gods can now view it. They can now collect your experience and add to the experiences of many others and pull together this 360-degree perspective of everything. This is why the deities seem so intellectual, because they have so many perspectives of each of these experiences. So it's a wonderful opportunity for us to recognize their value, right? So this is really where the deities come into our everyday understanding. All right, I need to take a quick commercial break, very quick. And when we come back, we're going to talk about putting the rubber on the road and what this means to our everyday life, how we can use it to kind of move forward and get a better taste on things. So we'll be right back after this.
Weekend or sunbreak, eBookers Ireland bundles flights, stays, and car hire smartly. Plan the escape. Link in our description.
It's happening.
It's in the air. The time is now.
We're all waking up.
We're waking up.
We're all waking up.
It's all shifting.
New vibrations.
It's you.
It's you.
It's me. It's all of us.
Together.
A new time.
A new day.
A new energy.
A new energy.
New reality.
Awaken with us.
Awaken with us.
Awaken with us.
NewRealityTV.com.
Step into a look that carries you. Janet Howard fashions, clean lines, confident silhouettes. Browse the new edits. Check out a link in our description.
These words are stirring something heavy in you. You don't have to carry it alone. Sliding scale spiritual guidance with sessions outside normal business hours is available through the Alaska ulfhednar. Visit akulfhednar.org/guidance to book a free discovery session.
And we're back. Thank you for taking that quick break with us, and we're running short on time. So I do want to say real quickly, though, huge shout out to fournseven-poster-frame. Be sure to check them out, as well as all of our other many affiliates at akumedia.akoutlaw.com/sponsors. So there you will find a list of things, organizations that support the shows, as well as offer you an opportunity to find that gift in time for the holidays. So do check them out. Today we're talking about the Serpent Beneath, and we're talking about changing our perspective and recognizing where we're applying filtering that may or may not apply to this particular situation. Many cases we may find that our filtering is kind of coloring the whole view of things and putting ourselves in that image. So it's bringing back some of our own history, our own past memories that are now being applied to this situation, which may or may not apply appropriately. So all things being what they are, let's think each time as we're experiencing these experiences, particularly in those moments where it's not a very pleasant or it's an unwanted experience that we're having. First, we have to kind of consider, is this happening? Is this event, is this experience really what my brain thinks it is? Okay? Look at facts. Look at absolute facts, not our colored version of it. Look at, going back to our analogy that we used throughout the show about the parent and child in a grocery store. How much of that scene are we playing back from our own past and applying now those filterings, that perspective to that experience? And if we are, then we have to consider that, wait a minute, this may be a completely different environment, a completely different to that which we experienced, right? So it may be very different. Now, again, as long as the child is not being violently hurt or hurt in any way, then, you know, there may be need to step in. But in the correction, the guidance that the parent is offering, our perspective may be from a very different time, for a very different place, and therefore not applicable. So we have to consider that in our experiences. Same thing with relationships, same thing with just general interactivity, right? Our experiences may be very different, and we're applying now our filtering to this situation. And it may or may not be applicable. Now, our imagination is going to play a role in that it's going to kind of filter forward events and experiences from the wisdom, remember, that say, oh, this leads to this, that leads to this. Well, maybe in your mind, in your wisdom, it does. Does that mean it's going to apply in the situation in front of you? No, maybe not. I mean, don't get me wrong, it might, but doubtful. Okay, very different situations, very different perspective. So think about that next time you are receiving an input and receiving an experience, and immediately, almost, pass judgment. Judgment is that moment where the imagination says, this is going to lead to this thing over here, right? So remember, imagination is preparing us for the fight, flight, or freeze scenario, right? So when we're getting that information, it's kind of a forecast. It's premonition, if you will, is what imagination is doing to our sensory input. So be cognizant of what filters we've already applied to the situation. What have we done? How much of our past, of our history is coming out? And think about that as you take in this experience. Now, obviously, in the case of the woman in the grocery store, we can walk away. We can turn away. We can turn off that experience and move to another thing. Or if you have a relationship with this person, and they're trying to control their child while you're talking, say, you know what, you can deal with your kid, your child. I'm going to go finish my groceries. I want to say thank you, and you have a great day. Love and light kind of thing, yeah. You can turn off that experience, turn it down, move away. All right. So remember today, our rune of the day, Gebo. Gebo talks about the divine interface, talks about teaching and learning a larger perspective as we look at the serpent beneath, and we attempt to recognize where that serpent is coming into our experience to provide us with potentially an unwanted view. All right. So today being Thursday, I pray that you have a wonderful day, and I pray that Thor is mercy and shows you the strength that you have within you to recognize your equation, your part of this equation, of this reality of life, of our experiences. So embrace that. We will see you again tomorrow, where we will embrace the power of Freya. I do encourage you, please check out certainly the nonprofit website at akulfhednar.org, and you can go check that all out by all means, and feel free to check out one-on-one available guidance sessions with me. I'm happy to sit down and talk to you about your perspectives and what you're seeing and why they have such a value to you. We can have wonderful conversations, so do check that out, akulfhednar.org/guidance. All right, my friends, we will see you again tomorrow as we embrace the power of Freya and get ready for rejuvenation and healing over the weekend. So we will see you then. Until then, my friends, love and light, love each other, but most importantly, love yourself.
Fulfillingness. Una. Hjälp oss med. Magnify. Tu för åg. Kaliot.
If what we've touched today hits something raw for you, you don't have to carry it alone. We offer a sliding scale spiritual guidance with sessions outside normal business hours. Visit akulfhednar.org/guidance to book a free discovery session.